So what have we got here? We've got an update on my dragon fruit, and the only reason I'm making this video is, there's two reasons actually. One, a really gross reason, and the other is to give my dragon fruit a little bit of a trim because there's new growth in areas that I don't want it. But let's talk about the gross thing first, which is why I've got my gloves, although these aren't a bad idea if you're handling your dragon fruit. But yeah, we've just got a flat pack, mouse, I should say, of some type, which I discovered in this garden bed, and it's pretty clearly been regurgitated by an owl that's been sitting up either on the gutter or on my frame here, and has obviously not so much liked the that mouse skin and all the fur, and as a result it's just thrown it up in my garden here. So anyway, that's the gross section of today's video. On to the more productive part, because I don't need a mouse fur. And now I've touched it with that glove. Oh, I guess we'll just have to make do. We're gonna spray maybe I'll spray the fingers of my gloves a little bit there with a bit of disinfectant, bit of isopropyl alcohol. Good pick-me-up if you're feeling down. No, not really. It's probably what sends you blind. So as you can see over here, this is shooting at the base. I actually have come over and I've knocked a whole heap of these off at different times, but some of them are hard to reach, and gloves are an idea because these things are spiky, as you probably know if you know anything about dragon fruit, and if not, it'll be a nice surprise for you the first time you try and do it without gloves if you're not really careful. We're just gonna knock off all of these growths that are in the wrong spot because they're taking all the energy out of the plant, and we want them to go up and over our frame. At the end, I'll talk about the kind of the downside of the frame design that I've used, which is, yeah, it's a bit of a problem, but not insurmountable, I would say. So we've got all these new growths here. I've let them get too established to really just easily knock them off. Off they all come, and we're good to go. Looking up further on the plant, which, can you see up that far? No? So if we look up here, we actually had this one got too tall and then fell over and it broke off, and so we've got some new heads that are growing here. We'll see which one of those goes the best, and then we'll give it the best chance at life, just to be fair, because one of those will be probably our central leader, although we don't really need it because we've got another one over the other side. So I could potentially just cut that whole piece off and we'd be good to go. Over here, so we've got one upright which probably needs a bit of support, and I need to pay a bit more attention to how I'm running these up. But these ones here aren't doing anything important, and I probably could just knock those off, but we'll use the secateurs since we brought them. This one likewise, I don't know if you can see, that might be out of the camera frame, but others that we can take out. And you could potentially, poor Mr. Spider there is getting knocked around. You could potentially use these or grow these as little baby dragon fruit. So keep that in mind. Another one just down at the base. I do need to do a little bit of weeding in these garden beds. And I got a whole heap of previous ones that I'm growing from, yeah, basically the chopped off pieces. But yeah, so it's going all right. I mean, I got low standards when it comes to this kind of stuff, but I'll give you a look at the more established side. So there are some pretty big huntsman spiders that have been around here that I do need to keep an eye out for. I try not to kill them because they're just doing their thing, but yeah, it is not something you want to get bitten by. As you can see here, this has kind of gone out of control. I've run these over the top, but basically I see why people have a freestanding system where these can cascade out of every side, because obviously that's going to give you more balance. This is super strong because it's a roof structure for the caravan. However, the problem is trying to get these plants to go the way you want is yeah, as you can see, like a lot of them have really gone in the opposite direction that I'd want here. And so maybe this is a bit of a lesson learned. It's also a really dry part of the garden where they like lots of sun, but they like to be kept a little bit moist from what I understand, even though they're cactuses. But like, to be honest, this is going pretty well. It's just that the growing direction isn't great. No flowers yet, so maybe I need to fertilize them. And it's probably a bit unruly. It probably needs a lot of cleaning up, but I just like it. And so we're gonna let it go for the moment. Certainly I probably should concentrate on getting the growth off the ones that are coming back down, because that's the important thing. And some of these can be actually just trimmed off as a result. But we'll keep the growths, because from what I understand, and from if my research is right, which is not always the case, you want to get it over the top of your support, and then you kind of want to trim them off. So I should have probably trimmed this off already. And then what you do is you get all of these growths that are then hopefully going to flower, if I understand it right. And to be honest, my intimate knowledge of dragon fruits is not that good, which may be why I don't have any flowers or any fruit yet. But again, it's just a fun experiment. And once they get nice and established, I can start kind of narrowing down on really getting everything right. Because also this is a screen to kind of hide the caravan, which is another important aspect of the whole project, which obviously is probably not going to be a consideration for you, but it very much is for me. And that's why we got a little grape over there. And next thing, I need to put a fence up for the grape around the end of the caravan to give it really good airflow and a bigger space to grow. But yeah, quick update anyway, not that quick. I also just want to say, one of the things that as you garden a bit more, you'll really notice, and is probably just an open secret really, is that you can start off with, say, a single dragon fruit plant, and as you trim it, you put the shoots that you've trimmed off into the ground, grow them up, and it's really, really easy to propagate. But a dragon fruit plant itself, unless you're going for all different varieties, which is probably what a lot of people do, they're quite expensive. Like a lot of the time they're 35 bucks plus for not even a really big plant. And so I guess that's one of the things. I was lucky, I got a whole heap of dragon fruits of a friend he'd trimmed a whole heap of his, he'd grown them up, like I'm growing these in this bucket here. And so I got a whole heap of free plants from him. I think I bought 2, so about 35 bucks each. But it can seem like a really, really expensive thing to start. But if you're more patient, you can just buy one or find someone who'll give you one from an established plant that they're just trimming. And you can really get a lot of plants out of it it will, maybe be a year or something like that, but you don't have to spend the money. I'm pretty impatient, so I'm not really recommending that as an option, but certainly you could probably find someone who'll give you some cuttings for free if you don't have the money to buy them, and it's going to be an easy way to start, because going to the nursery, it does normally really hit the hip pocket, in my experience.